Alright, in the last video we looked at plotting the moving mean, centered moving mean, individual seasonal effect, and reconstruction. I just delete that because you haven't done that yet. So we're going to do the reconstruction in this video, and we're going to look at the individual seasonal. We already calculated the individual seasonal effect. We also plotted this pretty slick looking graph. We're going to plot some more on this graph, on this one. Right, the first graph that I'm going to plot is going to be pretty much the same graph, but instead of these values at the bottom, you can't actually plot a trend line. I want to plot a trend line on the graph so I can get an equation. You can do this by hand, but we might as well just use the equation. I'm going to plot the quarter instead of the date. So it's pretty much the same thing. Let's just see how that looks. I'm going to plot it. You'll see that the quarters are here, but we don't want them to be here. We're going to use the first column, use column A as labels, and that way it puts the values down there. Alright, now that these bottom things are numbers, you can go to customization. I can change my chart title and stuff here. I'm not going to make you watch me do that. Down the bottom here, they've got trend line, and you've got a few different options there. Before I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it just for the centered moving mean. The fuel one will have a very similar value, but we'll stick with just a centered moving mean. And I'm going to do linear. That's the safest bet. If you want to do anything else, you have to justify it. Linear will work. I don't want to show the label. I want to use the equation. I could put R² values in, but you haven't learned what that is yet. We got the equation here. Alright, that's pretty cool. Insert that. We're going to use that equation. So that means for every one it goes across, for every one quarter this goes across, this graph goes up 28 million. Sounds pretty intense. And then, but it starts at about 780 million. Okay, let's just have a look. So we're going to use this equation to reconstruct this graph. Alright, I'm going to start actually down here. I'll explain that later. I'm going to start on the first quarter. Put equals, and I'll put the equation in. 28.311. The decimals actually don't make too much difference. But I'll put them in anyway. Because it's 5 significant figures. Times x. Well, x is how far it goes across, which is actually that value there. And then we're going to add on that last number, which is 780.69. Don't laugh. Alright, so 0.69, and we've got this value here. Probably, yeah. I'm going to get rid of one of those decimal places. But this is, if I plotted this all the way down, I'm just going to get a value I'm going to get a line that goes exactly on that trend line. I don't quite want that. I want to change it by the seasonal effect. So on this one here, I'm going to add on the first seasonal effect. So plus, well, that value there is I3. I don't want to drag it down. If I copy this formula later, which I will do. So I'm going to put dollar signs. Technically I only need it over the 3, but I'll just do it for both. And this one here, because that was the first quarter, I found it easier to work 1 quarter at a time. If I drag that down now, I've got the I3 that stayed there the whole time. I'm pointing, but you can't see the I3. I want this one here, which is the second quarter, to be I4, I5, and I6. So I'm just going to quickly change that. I4, I5, 6. So that means these ones are all changed by their correct seasonal effect. Now I'm going to copy these 4 values I think this is the fastest way to do this. I'm going to keep just plotting those 4 values again and again and again. This saves me from typing the formula out all those times. Right, and you might see here, we've gone past. And this is how we're going to actually predict how the future is going to look. But first of all, we'll plot that. I'll go to the top and put the extra value in. This is the 4th quarter. Go back and do that. And I'll plot the date this time. I'll plot the fuel. Plot center movement. Oh, I won't plot that one. Oh, I will. And the reconstruction, so we can have a look and see how it looks. All right, so I lost the plot there for a second. So plot line, got the date there. Center moving mean is the red one. I'm going to kind of ignore that for the time being. The blue line is our original. This orange line here is our reconstructed value. It's not perfect. Definitely doesn't take that into account. It does follow pretty much how the trend line was. It does affect by the seasonal effects. But it just shows you there's something else at play that's making these bigger influences, which you'll have to try and research and discuss. All right. I want to see what it looks like in the future. I'm not going to plot that. I'm going to plot that for the future. Still take those same 4. Whoa, that just happened. That went all the way to the bottom. So don't click whatever I just clicked. I don't know what I clicked. Oops. Yeah. And if I did these values here, just to show you, they're quite small. They've gone small again. What is that, do you say? That's because these values here are related to these ones here, so they do need to continue to actually plot them. All right, let's quickly plot that. So this is, I'm going to do the date again. I'm going to do the fuel. I'm going to do center moving mean, reconstructed. Plot this line graph. You can see the dates. This one goes beyond, probably not the future yet because that's 2011. This might be 2017. I don't know. But I can make a prediction, and this is what you're going to be expected to do. Make a prediction on something in the future. I'm going to leave that with you. If you have a good go at this, try and share it into your maths drive so I can have a look at it. And good luck. I'm going to insert it because I've done it, and stop sharing.